Am I the asshole for cutting off my parents because they plan on leaving almost everything to my disabled brother? My 24 female brother, 32 male, is a failure to launch. He's never been very smart. He did badly in school and never went to college. He tried 2 different trade schools, welding and mechanic, but he basically flunked out of both. He works at a gas station now. My brother and I are our parents' only children. They always treated us relatively equal until adulthood. They always insisted we earn our own way. They refused to pay for college or anything. I joined the military at 17, got an associate's degree while I was in, and my GI Bill went towards my bachelor's. I'm working towards my master's now. My husband and I have bought a house and have done well for ourselves. My parents, however, fully paid for my brother to try trade school twice. They've given him cash when he was behind on rent and countless loans. They support him cosplaying as an adult. Meanwhile, they never paid for my wedding, education, nothing. I don't really care so much that they didn't give me money, but the disparity in how they treated me versus my brother. Our parents are in their 60s now, and while they aren't that old, they're both in bad health and probably won't live another 10 years. They just recently started working on their will and notified us that they are leaving almost everything to my brother. But they want me to be their medical power of attorney, manage their estate, etc. I told my parents to give my brother everything and that I'm completely done with them. They told me to have some grace and understand the fact that he isn't very capable and need their support, even after they're gone. My mother had a doctor's appointment this morning and asked me for a ride since she medically can't work. I told her to ask her favorite child or pay for an Uber. Things have been tense and hostile. My brother called me to apologize and asked me not to be mad at him, but I told him that I'm not mad at him. I'm mad at our parents for not treating us equally, and he didn't do anything wrong. Am I the asshole?
Well, at least she's not taking it out on her brother, because it doesn't seem like her brother is a bad person or like wants to be like this. She did put disabled in the title, but I'm not.
Okay, so there's an edit. It says, I meant to put disabled in quotation marks.
Oh.
My mother refers to my brother as disabled, even though he isn't.
Oh.
She's had him tested for every kind of learning disability there is. He just has a below average IQ. She thinks that counts as a disability when it isn't.
Oh, interesting. I think it is kind of a little harsh for you to be like, just like a little bit. I don't know. Just her mom is asking for a ride from her. She can't drive, and she's like, "Go ask your favorite son or order an Uber." That's harsh.
How would you feel if your parents said they're going to leave 90% of their will to
I know. Yeah.
After a lifetime of them paying for Unja's wedding, Unja's college, Unja's car, and they didn't pay anything for you. Yeah. And you had to earn all your own.
No, it's definitely like warranted. I think just as an outsider, it's kind of like hard to hear that. Like, oh, you're turning down like driving your mom to her doctor's appointments. I don't know. It's like kind of tough. But yeah, no, I think it is probably warranted, and she's built up this resentment for her entire lifetime.
Yeah.
What?
Wouldn't be tough for me.
Wouldn't it be tough for you?
I don't think so. Top comment. Quote, but they want me to be their medical power of attorney, manage their estates, etc. This is a huge ask, even if you stood to inherit. That you're expected to do all the heavy lifting and then be your brother's keeper after they pass it's a hell of a lot.
What a slap in the face to be like, okay, you're my power of attorney, but you're not getting anything.
Yeah, just because he's lazy doesn't make him disabled. And even if you even if you don't have the highest IQ, like, that doesn't mean you can't do anything.
I know.
You are not actually disabled.
But it's not really his fault that his parents are babying him.
Exactly. That's what I mean.
Yeah.
I'm not, you're a product of your environment.
Yes.
Your parents are like, oh, 2 + 2 is hard. Okay, don't worry about that anymore.
Here's $100.
Yeah. He didn't make it through trade school. Like, if you keep repeating the same thing, eventually you will get it.
Maybe.
I think so.
I feel like that's easier said than done. I don't think that's actually true because
I don't know. I kind of do.
some people,
I kind of think it is. I could be wrong.
I don't think it means you're like a quitter because you don't continue to put yourself in a situation that like you're just not right for.
But I'm just saying, if you spend enough time doing it, eventually you'll get it. And the only way, like, yeah, no. I 100% believe that. If you spend enough time doing something, you will eventually get it. And the only way to prove me wrong is to do it for infinity and not be able to get it. But we don't live that long. So you could do something your whole life. Maybe you should need an extra 5 years. Maybe if you had double lifespan, you could figure it out.
So you think if you wanted to be like a professional hockey player,
Yes.
you think
100%.
you could do that
Okay.
until you made the NHL?
Hold on. That's different.
How?
Because
With your logic.
No. There's a difference. Can I be a hockey player? Can I eventually, if I put enough time on the rink, I put enough time to playing the sport, can I get it down, play the game successfully? Will I be the greatest that there ever was? No. But will I be a fluent? It's like learning a language. Will I be a fluent hockey player? Will I speak English fluently enough? If I study and I keep learning every single day, will I be able to speak Mandarin after 5 years?
I think
Might be 5, 10, 15. Eventually you repeat something long enough, you get it down.
I think everybody has different walks of life. And
100%.
Listen to me. Stop
I agree.
cutting me off.
I agree.
I think graduating college or university is a big hurdle for some people. And people could probably say, like, they see that as an achievement, as the same achievement as, like, being starring in the NHL. I think it's like,
Yeah.
It's about perspective. Like, something could be harder for somebody and easier for somebody else.
I agree.
Okay.
I'm just saying,
No,
if you stick to something long enough, you'll get
no, but
there.
you're saying you going to the NHL is not the same as like this guy graduating college.
No, that's not what I'm saying.
Isn't that?
You ask, NFL is not somebody who can play hockey. Those are the people who can play the best hockey. I'm just saying, if I could get to a point where I am proficient at hockey, or like I know how to speak the English language, that's proficient. And then if you take the English language and you want to be a TV commentator for like a speech person, or you want to be a voice actor or something, that's another aspect. I'm saying I could go and play, I could go join a local team, and I could play hockey. I know the sport, I know the rules, I know how to score a goal, I know what all the positions are, I know how the game works, I know how to play hockey.
That could be the same level, like doing the basic amounts, like to learn hockey could be the same level as just like graduating from high school for some. Like I'm saying
like, if you repeat all the grades long enough, eventually you'll learn it. If you are failing year after year, and
you're missing my point.
No, I think you're missing my point.
Okay.
I think he failed at something and his parents gave him an out and he stopped learning. If he kept repeating welding school, eventually you'll get it down how to weld. Eventually you'll get it down. Repetition. Habits, creating habits over 21 days and memorizing the same thing over and over and over again. Do you think that you are the smartest accountant out there?
No.
And why are you an accountant now?
Why?
Yeah. Did you repeatedly go to school day after day and keep going? Did you fail some courses and had to retake them? Mm-hmm. And then you got it the next time?
Because my parents told me to.
I'm just saying, you repeated and then you got it.
I didn't have a choice.
You learned some, you didn't learn enough. You learned some, you repeated, you learned a little more, and that was enough for a pass. But maybe you had to take the course 3-4 times. As long as you repeat and keep doing it, eventually you'll get there. And I think I have to truly believe that, because the only way to disprove that thesis that if you repeatedly do something, you'll get better at it, is when you run out of time of life.
Okay. I'm not going to keep beating this dead horse.
Whack.
I'm over it.
Undo you.
Isn't there an update?
Oh, there's an update. Hey, so the consensus on my post was a bit of a mixed bag. I sat down with my parents and wanted to give an update and answer some stuff. My brother is not actually disabled. He just has a low IQ, just over 80. You need an IQ under 70 where I live to be considered disabled and to qualify for any sort of benefits. Okay, but that's pretty close.
I don't know what, like, how you even measure IQ.
Tests?
But is it like 80 out of what? Because I don't think it, like, how do you know that that's close?
I don't know.
Is it 80 out of 100?
But also, if you just take a test with never studying anything, how you expect to get a good score? I don't know. Okay, continuing. My parents had babied him because from a young age, he wasn't as smart as other kids and had a low self-esteem because of that and was quick to give up on things when they seemed too hard. He does okay on his own now. He works and pays his bills most of the time. He drives and lives with a roommate. On to the update. I sat down with my parents and explained that I've always felt like they treated me worse than my brother. They always emphasized to me that as an adult, you need to support yourself, figure things out on your own. I had to join the military at 17 because I knew they'd kick me out when I was 18. My parents never offered me any support outside of raising me as a child. They didn't buy my husband and I a wedding gift. They didn't offer much of anything. Meanwhile, they brag about having over $1 million in the bank and having succeeded from nothing. Meanwhile, they paid to put my brother through 2 trade schools that he failed out of, offered him money to start his own business. They've always bailed him out when he was short on rent. For me, it's not so much about the money, it's about the disparity in how we've been treated. It's obvious that they loved and cared for him more because they were willing to do these things for him and not me. But despite them not being there for me, I've still done really well in life. I've told my parents about all of this, and they were interrupting me and talking over me the whole time. They told me I'm not entitled to a dime when they die, and that I'm an adult and can handle myself. They just weren't understanding or even caring about my point. They told me I need to step up and treat them better, and that it's wrong of me not to take my sick mother to the doctor or take care of her because of money. Eventually, I just gave up on trying to talk about my feelings. They just don't care. I told them that they're adults and they're not entitled to anything from me. Just like they were never required to help me, I'm not required to help them. I told them to completely remove me from their will. I am not willing to be their estate executor, medical power of attorney, nothing. I don't want a dime from them at this point, and I suggested they spend all the money they saved over the years to pay for some really good nursing homes and buy an estate executor because I'm no longer willing to do anything for them. My mother was floored and asked if I'd really put my own parents in a nursing home. I asked if they'd really let their 17-year-old daughter join the army to get sexually harassed by older men in order to go to school without taking on a huge debt. My parents cried and yelled at me, and I left. And that's that, I guess. I kind of feel relieved, like a massive weight is off my shoulders. I have a wonderful husband. We own a nice home. I'm getting ready to start working on my master's degree, and we're thinking of maybe having a baby soon. I no longer have to worry about dealing with my parents. They're adults and they can deal with their own problems, just like I've done with mine. And yeah, that's it. Not sure if that's the update we wanted, but that is what it is.
Damn. Oh.
Damn.
Sounds like it was good to get that off her chest.
Right? Big relief. At one point I was like, they don't owe her anything, and just because they helped her brother more doesn't mean they loved her any less. And then it just went on. And I was just like, no, I think they were biased.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. I don't mean to be like, you can do anything you want no matter what, and there's no excuses or anything, and his IQ's low.
That's what it sounds like.
And there's definitely people out there who struggle. But my question is for these parents, okay, like, did your son have such a low IQ because he was actually challenged? Or was it because anytime something was a little bit hard for him, you said, it's okay, you don't need to learn that?
Oh, I think they definitely enabled him.
Like when your kid comes home from school and he's like, oh, I don't understand how 3 + 4 = 7. And you're like, oh, don't worry about the math homework. You'll be fine. Or did you sit down with your kid and help him go through all of the school questions, all the things that he needs to learn, and help him learn, even though it may have taken a little bit of a longer time? Like, did you actually help, or did you just say, oh, you don't need to learn it, no big deal? That's where I am wondering on this IQ level. Is the IQ low because he's actually challenged? How much of that factors into the parents not being like, no. It's hard. You need to push yourself to learn.
Yeah.
Learning is a hard thing to do. You need to be okay with it being hard.
That is true. Like, it could have just all stemmed from the parents and just babying him.
That's what I mean. Like, if you just baby your kid all the time, you're like, oh, don't worry about learning
they don't
it.
learn to...
Right? Learning is hard. You have to try hard. But then there's also the balance of like, okay, no, you actually are having a hard time compared to other people.
Exactly.
That's so tough.
That is tough.
That's...
Where's the line?
Where's the line? Where's the freaking line? I need a shirt that says, where's the line? ThreadTalk merch. Where's the line?
Okay.
Back to you.